waiting for the technology to catch up, waiting for it all to sync. So at the moment it's not showing on my laptop that's here. So 2 seconds and I'm all yours. Now we're working. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Brooks's Bass Corner. Wherever you are in the world, hope you're all safe and well out there. Here we have live chat number 24. 24. Can't believe we've done 24 of these. It's Tuesday, 7 o'clock here in the UK. Welcome to Brooks's Bass Corner. Live chat number 24. Here we go. You're very welcome. Thank you for attending. If you're watching, if you listen to this after the event, you're more than welcome as well. You might be using this as a podcast, or you might just be you've ventured onto this video through other means. You've gone down a YouTube rabbit hole. You're more than welcome. I'm Mike Brooks. This is Brooks's Bass Corner. It's bass chat, live chat. There's a live chat window here on the desktop and on the mobile app. If you've got any questions, any comments regarding this video, any other videos on the channel, you'd like to ask any questions about basses, bass guitars, amplifiers, bass speakers, effects, bass accessories, anything here on the channel. So we're talking reviews, demos, interviews, essential bass albums, workshop videos, bass tips. If there's something you'd like to see that I haven't already covered, stick it in the live chat window and it'll go onto my list of future video topics and things I can cover here on the channel. If you're new to the channel, welcome. To all the people who've subscribed in the last week, liked videos, commented, if you've been following community posts or the social media posts, or let me think, what else has happened? There's been all sorts happening actually. So if you've done any of that, subscribed, hit the notification bell, liked any videos, thank you very much. Very much appreciated as always. Without you guys, the content doesn't do anything. It's all well and good me uploading it and putting it out there. But if you guys don't watch it or don't get involved in it, it kind of defeats the object. So thank you very much. So if you're new to the live chat thing, we do this every Tuesday night at 7 o'clock here in the UK. So it's 7 o'clock here in the UK, 2 p.m. in the afternoon, East Coast in America, around about 11 a.m. on the West Coast, I guess, California, LA, San Francisco, that way. I'm not going to do a time check around the globe because we could be here all night. So if you haven't done live chats before, if you're watching on the desktop application on a PC, a laptop or a Mac, there's a chat window on the right hand side of the video that you're watching. In there you can post any comments you wish to me. I see them as they pop up. Don't get silly, guys. We've had silly people here before. They got ejected very quick. So if you've got any questions about basses, amps, effects, bass accessories, bass gods, bass legends, famous bass players, people you want to talk about, albums, essential bass albums, stick it all in there. I'll reply as quick as I can. If you're listening to this live chat after the event, and obviously the chat's finished, you can still get involved. So post in the comments box and I'll reply to those as and when they come through and I see them. I'm pretty good at replying quite quickly. So you can get involved either live now, or you can get involved live, well, not live, but you can get involved after the event. It's all good. I can see 2 people have already appeared and I can see there's loads of people watching. Stacey Ann, good evening. Used to go by the name Vintage Corgi. She's got a new YouTube channel coming up. For those of you into hairdressing as well, I suggest you go and like her channel, subscribe, get involved. Afternoon to you. I can see you there. Mark Williams, evening. Hi Mark. Thank you for attending. Very welcome. You guys got any questions, anything you want to ask? If you've been on the live chats over the past couple of weeks and you want to follow up anything, we had a cracker last week. We were talking about pedal boards. We were talking about effects, chaining effects together. We've spoken about the Betsy bass from the Bass Center. The week before, we were talking about LEDs. We were talking about, God, there's been so many questions of late, so it's all good. So keep them coming, please, because without your interaction, it's kind of a bit of a one-sided conversation. And listening to me prattle on for 60 minutes is going to bore you to tears. So if you can, if you've got things you want to discuss or things you want to check out or suggestions for reviews, things you'd like to see reviewed. Christmas is coming, guys. Presents time. Anything you want to ask or check out. Family members might be thinking about buying you something bass-wise. Stick it in there. If you want to check out new gear coming out, we've just had the new Aguilar pedal announced, a new small, following on from the DB599 compressor and the DB925, I think. The preamp pedal, there's now a new fuzz pedal. And there will be a review very, very shortly. As soon as they hit the UK shores, one is heading this way. I've already spoken to the distributors this morning. We've got that pedal coming in, amongst other pedals. And I've had a few people say, keep talking about all these bass reviews and pedal reviews that are coming up. When are we going to see them? Well, YouTube is an ever-evolving thing. And to maximize me putting these videos up, I have to not necessarily tie them in with things, but I have to plan the right time to upload them. What's happened in the past couple of weeks is YouTube has announced a whole new load of changes and evolving the Shorts platform and a few other bits and pieces. So I am kind of trying to time everything hitting at the optimum time here on the channel. So at the moment, it's been announced that YouTube Shorts are going to go ballistic in January. Well, I did some YouTube Shorts 2 years ago, not long after the channel had started. YouTube Shorts has only just become a thing at that point. Trying to pick up some of the slack from TikTok and what have you. Well, they've now announced that YouTube Shorts is going to go absolutely ballistic in the new year. So I've been developing content, trying to preempt that huge ratcheting up of that content being fed out to people that watch YouTube. So my review videos are all there, sat nicely ready and waiting to go. Just keeping the powder dry at the moment. Getting the YouTube short content ready as well. And if you've been following the channel over the past 7 days since last week's live chat, you'll have seen there's been a YouTube short going up every day. Part of my master plan, hopefully. And that, some of it is brand new and some of it is what I've been calling extracting from the original video that's here on the channel. So if there were certain segments of a video that I thought worked really well in the YouTube short format, I was able to take that extract out and it's now up on YouTube Shorts. So hopefully to develop the popularity of the channel, entice people in to come and watch more of the content. So the review, pedals, accessories, all those longer form videos are coming. They're ready to go. But because things keep changing, I have to kind of evolve with what YouTube is doing. So don't worry, it's all coming. It might hit you too quick, but again, I've got to pace out how this stuff comes out. So it's all there in the can, ready to go. So good stuff coming your way. For people who are new to the live chat thing or new to YouTube even, in the live chat window, and if you're on the mobile app, it will be in the chat window that's underneath the video. You'll see some icons. There's an emoji icon there. There's also a dollar symbol. If you don't know what the dollar symbol is, that's called Super Chat. What that does is if you click on it, it allows you to make financial contributions to this channel. If you're on someone else's channel and they're doing a live chat, it just allows you to make financial contributions to our channels. That helps us buy the things that we review, pays for studio time, it pays for keeping all these YouTube things going and the social media platforms and buying all these sort of items that then get reviewed and get featured on the channel. So that's what Super Chat is. There's also a thing called super thanks. So on this video and all the other videos on my channel, underneath the video, you'll see a row of icons. So you've got the thumbs up, the thumbs down, share, save, watch later. You'll see there's a dollar symbol inside a love heart. That is called super thanks. So if a video has helped you, or you've had like a problem that you're thinking about, for example, how do I restring a Kubicki X Factor? I haven't done that video yet, but it's coming. If you had a Kubicki X Factor and you have not got a clue how to restring the thing, you might search out that video on YouTube. And if it helps to solve the problem you've got, you might want to say thank you to the creator for providing that video, because it might have got you out of a problem or what have you. You click on super thanks and then you can financially donate. So you don't have to wait for a live chat. You can just do it per video if you wish. You don't have to. The content's all free. But if you think a creator is providing videos that help you or solving problems that you might have in bass or even in life, our builder used a YouTube video to work out what the error codes were on our boiler about 4 or 5 years ago, and it was completely right. So if you wish to contribute on a video by video basis, you can do that. So there's super thanks under each video, and on a live chat we've got super chat. So last week we had a guy by the name of Texas Iguana who came on here. We had a conversation, two-way conversation on effects, how to set a pedal board up, getting his pedals in the right positions on the board so that they kind of work to their optimum. He donated to the channel. Fabulous. That's the way it works. If I can help, if I can give advice, problem solve, you've got a problem with some gear and you just don't know what's going on, ask me. I might know. I've got 35 years of bass playing experience, 27 as a gigging professional. I might have encountered exactly the same thing you're going through, and I might have been able to solve it. So if you've got any problems, any bass problems, amp problems, effect problems, you want to check out something for review, or you're maybe thinking about a new bass and you haven't tried it, if there's a review on the channel and you just need some extra information, stick it in the live chat window. I'll respond as soon as I see your question pop up. So that's the housekeeping done. So what's been happening in the last 7 days? So as I said, loads of YouTube shorts have gone up, literally one a day. I think there might have been a day last week when there were two, which would have been on the day of Mark King's birthday. Happy birthday, Mark, belatedly. I know we had a little WhatsApp chat last Thursday morning. But if you should stroll onto this channel or see the video at a later date, good to see you. We haven't seen each other since now 2018, which would have been at the Jack Bruce anniversary performance screening, which was in the centre of London. So we haven't actually seen each other, but Mark and I converse occasionally on WhatsApp. So he's all good, in fine form, I do believe. So yes, so YouTube shorts have been going up. We've got the live chats every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Long form content, filmed a few videos this week. Going on from last week's live chat, we were talking about pedals and pedal boards. I'm doing some filming the past couple of days because I'm resetting up both my smaller board and my larger board in preparation for all the work I've got coming up in November and December. So there's a few pedals coming off and a few new ones going on. Been playing around with and experimenting with order of pedals, trying to get the best tones. So there'll be a couple of those videos going up. There will also be some workshop videos going up very shortly as well. So they will be following on from the Status Empathy one that was up a couple of weeks ago. And also over the next 7 days, there will be 2 or 3 episodes of the Bass String Experiment series going up. So at the moment on the channel, you'll see we're up to gig 11. I've actually got up to gig 16, and all of that is filmed, edited, ready to be uploaded and sent out to you guys for viewing. So there'll be a couple of those episodes coming along very shortly. So today I did consider having an amp running and cabs and doing some demos with these pedals, but I thought, do you know what, I just don't know how the volume level is going to affect the microphone on the camera at such close quarters. So we will do live sound either next week or the week after. So today's live chat, hopefully Texas Iguana might show up. But we've got Stacey, we've got Mark Williams, we've got Patrick Sweeney. Evening, Patrick. Before I go any further, Patrick, big love and best wishes and everything going out. Patrick's sister is quite ill, and he posted it up on Facebook earlier. So best wishes going out to you, my man. Fingers crossed for the positive outcomes. And we've just had Jay Whitty's just appeared. Hi, Jay. Welcome. You're more than welcome here. So before I get sort of waylaid, so next week or the week after, we'll do some live sound with the effects. But for this week, I said last week I'd bring the small pedal board in and show you what I use when I'm not using the big pedal board on festival shows. So this is a smaller version, which I do use occasionally on festivals, but it's for things like pub gigs, weddings, events where there isn't a lot of floor space. I can't use a big pedal train unit, but these are like the essentials that I find I get the most mileage out of. So on any given gig, this is kind of a bit of an ideal sort of pedal setup. But the lovely thing is, because it's relatively small, it's easy just to take one pedal off, put another one on. For example, if I'm doing rocky stuff, I might want a distortion pedal on. A lot of the time I wouldn't use a distortion, but it's easy just to mix and match depending on what I'm doing. So I've got the board here. What I'm going to do is take each pedal off, show you what I use, show you how to use them, what the different controls do, and hopefully it might be of some use to you. And if you've got any ideas or things you'd like to see, or if you use an alternative pedal and you think it's better, let me know. Let's see, what styled by Stacey. I spy an Alembic over your shoulder. You do. So for people who saw last week, yeah, and a couple of months ago when I first bought this is a GB Rumor 4-string, which I bought for my 50th birthday a few months ago. Got the old LEDs on there. It's got the sound to light system, so that's that bass. Fabulous. Wrote sound strings, obviously. Have those on as many of my instruments as I possibly can. But over this shoulder, yes, we have a Mark King Alembic standard. Not a deluxe, but it's a standard. Exceptional. Love it. There are demo videos on the channel. Had this off the wall and on the stand because I've been doing a couple of videos that are going to be using this today, just getting some of the sounds together. So yes, an Alembic. For those who either don't ever get to see one or get their mitts on one, because they're few and far between. But yeah, we have the LED thing going on. If you've got any questions about that, you want to ask anything about the Alembic basses, I've got two. I've got this and the 20th anniversary over there. So yeah, if you want to know anything about that or the GB, feel free, fire away. That's what we're here for. So any help or advice, I'm more than willing to impart. So if you've never experienced an Alembic, you want to play one, you want to hear one, you got some questions, fire them away. I'll help as much as I can. Patrick, thank you. Yeah, but mate, we're all getting older. We are in changing times. So yeah, I saw your post earlier. I think I posted up on it. So, you know, big love going out to your family, and hope everything works out for the best there. So pedals. So last week we had a guy from Texas Iguana. Lovely guy, had a load of questions about pedals, how to get the best out of what he had, what pedals should he use next, how should he develop his board. So I said I'd bring in onto the live chat this week my smaller board. So I've got those here. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 5 pedals. So not a huge amount, fairly easy to set up. Getting them in order is fairly easy as well. So the board is in a little bit of a mess because it's got bits of Velcro all over it. So what I'll do is I'll pull everything out. I'll show you the size of the board. Some people always think a pedal board's got to be huge or really small. Does basically work out the space you need to accommodate the pedals you think you might need to use. So let me just pull all this stuff out, and then I'll show you the board, and we'll take it from there. So I have a lovely pedal train unit that I use for a bigger pedal setup. So this was a piece of wood that a relative had. And as soon as I saw it, I thought that would be ideal for a pedal board. So I sort of commandeered this about 15 years ago. And I had a load of pedal Velcro, the fluffy stuff, all ready to go. So basically, piece of wood, 5 bits of Velcro. So just to prove it is what it is. So I could have bought a cheap pedal board unit, but I think, or like a pedal train or something else. But back in 2006, 2007, they didn't have all the choices that you've got now in 2022. They had literally, I think, about 4 or 5. Most of them were large. They certainly didn't have the nano boards or any of that. So anyway, I took this bit of wood and covered it up, and this has been used quite a bit over the past couple of months. So it's not an especially large piece. Does what I need it to do. So fits in a small case. So one of these. So these used to be like photography camera cases you'd get from Argos or you know, General Mail order. They're nothing exceptional. It's got some sponge in there, but the bottom of it's empty. So that's the case and the board. So then what I generally use on gigs where I just need the basics, I don't need, you know, 20 pedals, and certainly I don't anyway. But so my first thing on the pedal, so I come from the bass down to the right hand side of the board. First thing I plug into is my tuner. This is a Boss TU2. I've used these for, now we're going back, 1998, I think the first one I bought. I got 2 of these on both boards, bomb proof. The only bad thing really about them is the clip inside that holds the battery. I've got it plugged into mains at the moment, but they do batteries as well. They're Boss. Is these clips tend to come loose over time. You can get them replaced, but it's a pain. But here we are in 2022, and I've had, well, the first one I bought in 98, the second one I think I bought in 2006. So, you know, they do hundreds of thousands of gigs, been around the world, both of the units. So they're great. Let's see if we get the old lights on. There we go. So anyone who doesn't know what the TU2, they've come out with various versions since, and you know, everyone and their dog manufacturer wise produces a tuner. So on here you've got modes. So you go from chromatic mode to guitar, semitone down guitar, whole tone down guitar. Then we go into bass, bass, and semitone down bass, and then whole tone bass. So that's those. And then you can have how the display is set up. So you can either have streaming, and that's a strobe effect. So basically when you get to the note, once it's in tune, it stops moving, otherwise it will keep rotating. And then you've got scent mode. So that basically goes to the middle. One lovely thing is that if you go into chromatic, it will give you the note you're playing on the display. If you choose to go into either guitar or bass mode, it will give you the string number. So on a bass, you're tuned E, A, D, G. G will come up as 1, D will come up as 2, A will come up as 3, E will come up as 4. But if you go into that chromatic mode, it'll give you them, and it'll actually say the letter. So what's that? It's coming up as a G, and there's nothing attached, just a cable. So yeah, so that's my tuner. That's what I go with. Then after that, I go into the Wonderbox, and there'll be a review of this very, very shortly. There's going to be a YouTube short of this as well going up this week. So this is my much loved Digitech drop pedal. I only started using this about 3 years ago, 2019. And what does it do? So basically it's taken the detuning guts part out of the Digitech whammy pedal. And what it does is, obviously you plug a bass in, you turn it on, so the light's on there. And then using this control, you can move, you'll see the LEDs moving. You basically detune your bass by semitone. So each LED represents a semitone. So if you're tuned in concert pitch, E, A, D, G, as soon as you do that, turn this pedal on, and if you've got it on 1, it's going to drop it 1 semitone. So you can be playing in E, kick that in, and you're now in E flat or D sharp. Go to a whole tone, so 2 semitones. If you're in E, A, D, G, you're now in D. Go to 3, you'll be in D flat or C sharp, and so on. You can then, the 8th option is an octave down, obviously. That gets a bit flappy, I can assure you. The next option is octave and dry. So it gives you your general signal and an octave down, which is basically what an octave pedal is. The only problem is you have no other controls. You can't control any factors of that octave effect. But it's quite a different sounding octave. And I actually really like it. And in a moment, you'll see the other octaver that I use, but they sound quite radically different. So I'm quite happy that it's got that. In terms of operation, it's pretty good down to 4 semitones, so 2 tones. After that, it gets a bit woolly and a bit mushy, and the tracking ain't so hot. If you check any YouTube videos out and you've seen guitarists and keyboard players using this, it sounds great, because they're using upper frequencies that cut through. We're dealing in the world of bass frequencies. We're dealing with stuff that requires power to sort of convey itself. So once you start getting past 4 semitones, it's mushy. You also start to lose top end quite quickly. So if you're doing slapping and you think, oh, you know, I like to do all my slap riffs that I normally do in E in D or C, you might want to check it out first, because once you, after about 2 to 3 semitones, you start losing your top end. It's still there, it just doesn't sound as clean. It gets a bit, not distorted, but gritty, and just that bite to get top end to cut through, you start losing it. But anyway, for the sake of £100, I think, well, it was £100 when I bought it, it might be a little more now. This pedal is worth its weight in gold. I wish I'd had this 25 years ago. It would have got me through many a situation that meant I had to transpose on the fly, or, as I mentioned in last week's video, where I was trying to use different basses with different bands, or use the same bass with different bands. And during the early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s, mid 2000s, I was in a covers band that tuned a semitone down. Right. If I then did 3, 4, 5 gigs in that weekend, I might do a couple with that band, and I might do a couple of gigs with other bands, and any of them could be a semitone, a whole tone tuned down, back to concert, back to semi, and the necks on the guitars were just going all over the shop. Even worse in summer, because you've got the heat and the humidity as well. If I'd had this pedal, I wouldn't have had to keep tuning the guitars differently. I could have just plugged it in and turned that dial, and it would have done exactly what I needed it to do. One other feature on here is the latching switch. So basically, if you've got latching kicked in, instead of turning the effect on and then it's on until you turn it off, yeah, it's the LEDs on and off. So rather than it being on until you turn it off, and I've had the situation where I've come out of a song, forgot to turn it off, gone into the next song, and I haven't turned the pedal off, and I'm like 3 semitones down from what we're meant to be playing in. With the latching effect, you just keep your foot on it. So if you're just using it for a phase, maybe like, a phrase, and you just want the octaver or the sub, maybe, just keep your foot on it and then take it off, and the effect stops. It's great. Super pedal, this. Super pedal. So then I go from that into, at the moment, I'm going into this EBS Octabass. There we go. So this is the black label version. I have one of the original grey label. They sound quite different. The grey one has fewer options on it. This is a black label from 2009, 2010. But very soon, this will either be replaced or augmented, he says, with this MXR vintage bass octave pedal, which is the half size one. And there'll be a review of that on the channel soon. Any point I refer to videos, reviews, demos on tonight's live chat, everything will be in the description box below. Basically, I put them as timestamps. So if you watch last week's video, or the week before that, you'll see timestamps. So if you're looking for anything that I mention, or you want to jump to that section, that'll all be in there tomorrow once the video is uploaded from this feed. So yeah, so there's the EBS Octabass. So that has two controls. So that's your normal control, which is how loud your dry signal from your bass is. And then you've got the octaved effect, so how loud you want that. Generally, I keep the normal at about 3 o'clock and I have the octave at 12 o'clock. That gives me enough of the effect, but enough of the dry signal to come through so it's cutting through. Then you have three options here, which is the range switch. So you have low, medium and high. I tend to keep it on high, just again, so it projects through. If you're just trying to really get a low, you know, subby, really gritty, like sub bass sound, you might want to stick that on the low. But those three options are voiced differently. So experiment based on the instrument you're going to use, the tuning you're in, how you want it to sound, what do you want the pedal to do. But the options are there. So that's that. Then I'm at the moment going into a Aguilar Filter Twin, which is this little number. I love this pedal, absolutely fabulous. So on here we have blend control for your dry and wet signal, threshold control, so at what point the filters are kicking in, and then there are two velocity controls, and I think one is for the high frequency and one for the low frequency, I think. I need to check the manual, but basically as soon as you start adjusting things, you'll hear all the differences, and this thing just has options for days. I love it. And again, usual Aguilar build quality, you know, built like a tank. Great, love them. I've seen these things being built in New York by hand. They're still being built by hand in New York since the Korg takeover, I'm assured. So yeah, love it. Love it. So all those funky sounds, things like flea kind of sounds, you want Bootsy Collins, envelope filtery sounds, there's your pedal. And then after that, I go into an Aguilar tone hammer pedal, which needs a damn good clean. But basically this has just done 2 whole summers of festivals and a winter of weddings and functions. So why do I have this on my pedal board? So for anyone who knows, I play in a band called Uncle Funk's Disco Inferno. We do loads of festivals. As a result, this was part of last week's conversation and the week before, a lot of the time I don't have backline. I don't use backline. We're a 9-piece disco show band, so we're trying to keep the volume down on stage, so no amplification as much as possible. And also we're all on in-ear monitoring. So really, once you've got your in-ears in, having an amp is by the by. That's more of a safety net. But this is what I put my signal into, and that then goes out to the desk that the sound man is going to be working his magic on my signal. So I use the tone hammer as my preamp pedal. So basically this is the guts of the tone hammer amplifier without the power section, obviously. And what that gives you is, so you've got all your clean, no, I can't do it off that, it needs the proper adapter. Hold on, got it here. That would have been good, I'd have fried its guts. Put the right adapter in, Michael. Here we go. So you engage, and that, so basically if I don't want any of the functions of the pedal and I'm just going clean into my pedals and out to the system, that's cool. That's what it's doing. There's a pre and post EQ switch and there's a lift. Okay, so then if I want a little boost, or I want to warm the tone up, or I want more treble, or I want more mids, depending on where we're playing, then I engage that pedal, so the blue light comes on. So then how these settings are is what I'm getting. Okay, if I want to dirty up the signal and start to get some distortion and some grit and some grinding, then you kick the AGS option in and that fires up the little orange LED. So then you're making use of the Aguilar drive circuit that features in the tone hammers. If you've got an AG700 amplifier, that's the clean, hi-fi, no distortion amplifier. If you go for the tone hammer, you have access to this distortion circuit built in. So at that point, then I think it's the mids and the gains that then affect how much of the grit and what you're getting. But again, you hear it very quickly as soon as you kick that in. If you've got any of this pushed and you want that distortion to really kind of project you, that's your button. And that's it. That's pretty much it. And if I have an amplifier and speaker, I just come out of there and go. So we're going from the out. That goes straight into the amplifier. The guy out front can choose. He can either have a send from the pedal or the amp. Sometimes they take both just for safety. The only thing with the tone hammer is it doesn't work on batteries, I don't think. I've never used it with batteries. And it has its own specific adapter. You have to have this. You can't just use like a one spot or other things. Have this adapter. If it goes wrong, you're not covered. So that's it. So that's pretty much my pedal board. So I am now going to look at the laptop screen and see what everyone's put. So hopefully that's helped you a bit. It might not. You might think, well, load of old rubbish. He's missed off this bit and he needs one of those pedals and that. That's what the live chat window's for. You put your comments in there and then I can reply to it. And all these lovely people who are here on the live chat, and I can see you all watching because the numbers are going up. Get involved in the conversation. If you've got some pedals that you absolutely love and you think people need to know about them, stick them in, or converse in the live chat window and we'll talk about them. Let's have a look. Any latency? Mark Williams. With the Digitech drop, I would imagine you're talking. So latency on the Digitech drop. Not for the first couple of semitones. So certainly one semitone, two semitones, pretty good. Three semitones, I wouldn't say it's late. There's much latency, but you're starting to lose definition. Once you get to step 4 on bass, then you'll start to notice changes. For guitarists, as I said, if you've watched any of the demos of the Digitech drop, and there are guitarists demoing it, you'll find it handles each step really well. But you're dealing with high frequencies that are cutting through, whereas we're bass players, so we're dealing with low end and power, and that's where it starts to fall down a bit. But to be honest, I haven't been in a situation in 3 years where I've had to go past 4 steps. There are occasions, sometimes you play in a band and they'll go, oh, we're going to tune up, like if they've got a female singer. You can't do that on here. So then you're in a position where you're either going to have to learn the song in that key or transpose on the fly, and that's just the way it is. But I wouldn't have any pedal board now without having that drop pedal on. So, and for the sake of 100 quid, it's an absolute godsend. I can't rate it highly enough. If you're talking drop pedal. Yeah, right. Okay. I was wondering if you meant latency on octave pedals, but we'll go into that as a separate thing. Mark Williams, what do you think of Sonsamp bass drivers? Your favourite? I've got one. I've got one here. I've got one of the 1998 original models. The only thing I hated about it, which they've since changed and we've had various iterations of the bass driver since, is that version I bought didn't have any mids. So all you had were bass and treble, and then you've got the grind, I think it was, and the blend control. So it's got good tones and good sounds, but it's very dependent on the instrument you're using it with. And that lack of mid control meant I didn't use it very much, to be honest. Mid EQ for me, a bass with 3-band EQ is far better to me than a bass with bass and treble, although I will happily accept that Music Man Stingray with bass and treble can sound better than a 3-band one with mids. But again, take every bass on its merits. Don't just assume that every 2-band Stingray is going to sound better than a 3-band. That's not the case. But yes, Sonsamps, industry standard. I've got one. It's there. It'll get a review video shortly. Certainly on the list of videos that need covering. I actually really loved Sonsamp did a pedal, I think around about 2008, 2009, 2010, where you could program up presets. I think it had like 3 presets. So you could have, basically you could have a clean sound, a distorted sound, and a slap sound, or a tight sort of back pickup fingerstyle sound. Love that pedal. I think I did a review of it. So yeah, I think around 2008, 2009. Loved it. But didn't really have much call for it myself, so I didn't bother buying one. But they're great stuff. You know, anything that comes out of Tech 21 is pretty great. So cool. Mark, you've got the V2. There you go. So you've got it. I presume the V2 is the one with the mids and the extra switches. Yeah, maybe I need to buy one, do a review. Actually, I could compare the two, see if the sounds are different. But good idea, good player. Make note, Michael John, when you're watching this back at a later date, get the newer bass driver and do a comparison video. I hear you. Patrick Sweeney, I've had occasion on gigs where my pedal board seems to cause interference through front of house and our IEMs, but not through my amp. Okay. It's absolutely fine if I bypass the pedal board. Okay, here's something I've found, and I only noticed it this summer. I didn't notice it last year. So bear in mind, last summer, 2021, we're coming out of COVID. I've joined Uncle Funk. We're doing IEMs. I'm starting to use a pedal board and what have you. This year, I've started to have occurrences where, so before I explain, so to run my pedal board, whether it's the small one or the big one, the Aguilar tone hammer has its own adapter. You have to use that. Can't get away with that. The drop pedal comes with its own adapter. It might well run off the power source I use for the other pedals, but I haven't tested it. I don't want it to blow up, so I quite happy to use its adapter. For everything else, I use a one spot. Now I know one spot do bigger units that have individual power sources, so you're not getting the transference of problems. But what I have found this summer, usually on festivals, sometimes in venues, it actually happened to me 2 or 3 weeks ago, is these are switching adapters. So they're dependent on the power source and the cleanliness of the electricity, or the source of electricity that's going into this from the wall. I've had a few occasions where this basically on this board will power the tuner, the octaver and the filter pedal, and it won't power them. The other pedals are all running fine, but it won't power those 3 pedals. Now, if I unplug this from the tuner and run it on a battery, I'm fine. But if I, even without daisy chaining, if I run direct from this adapter to the end of that and plug it in any of those 3 pedals, none of them will power up. Yeah, I can do a gig the next day at a different venue and it all works perfectly all right. There's nothing wrong with the adapter. There's no loose connections or anything. It's because of the quality of the electrical source. So this adapter then isn't able to do all its switching and whatever it needs to do. That's only happened to me this year. But before last summer, I didn't use pedals all that often. So I wasn't running daisy chains of pedals. But that's something I found. It could be the same thing, Patrick. It could be. We all just assume, oh, there's a plug socket, we'll plug in it, it'll be okay. For years, I used these amps, EBS Fafner amps. They're designed slightly differently from bog standard amps. I had it explained to me once and I've completely forgotten it, but these are built, or were, in Sweden. There's an LED in there, a bulb that powers up and they go red. So it's all very nice presentation. Those bulbs would blow up all the time. It's to do with the electricity source. When Bernie Goodfellow at GB Guitars was the distributor for these, he was going to offer an upgrade which would take that bulb out and replace them with LEDs. We never got around to doing it on my amps. But I've had several occurrences of these amps blowing up, either because the fuse in the plug wasn't high enough, which on the occasion that happened, it wasn't my fault. Someone in my band plugged in a kettle lead thinking it was my one, and it had a 3 amp fuse in it. Well, it was going to blow. But they can be, and I've only learnt this because of what's happening with this pedal board, these amps can be highly temperamental based on the power source they're receiving. And I would dare say Ampegs would have the same problem. The Aguilar DB750, maybe not so much with the 751, but the DB750 used to have the ability to take out a whole building's electrical supply because of the way it was designed inside. And on a UK power source, there were mentions on various bass forums in the late 2000s where people would go in, the source of the electric they were getting wasn't great, and the amp would basically blow and take out that building's electrical source. The 751 doesn't have the same problem. It's got various things built into it to prevent that happening. So we, as musicians, are constantly at the mercy of the electrical supply we're working with. I can say to everyone, put a power breaker on your source. Wherever, the first point you're coming out of a wall or an adapter or anything, put a power breaker on it just to save yourself. I've known of people who have died in pub gigs setting up a microphone because the electric source coming out of the wall was knackered. Don't kill yourself for a plug, please. So yeah, buy a power breaker. The point that you're going to come out of the wall, stick that power breaker on it. I've had power breakers trip without me connecting anything to it, just plugging it in the wall, turn the power source on the wall, and the thing's tripped already. You know it's live, just don't go near it. There we go, sermon over. So that could be contributing to your interference. Now you're saying that happens, but it will go to the amp and it's fine. Your amp is probably, could be on another power source. So I would suggest, well, whatever's powering your pedal board, plug that onto another source and see if you've still got the interference. Could be, are you running any wireless equipment off the same source? So say you're running a trailing plug board from a wall. Do you have any wireless equipment plugged into that plug board along with your pedal board? That could be contributing to it as well. I was thinking that, and maybe use a power conditioner to clean up the signal. Power conditioner and a power breaker. They're not hugely expensive pieces of equipment. Certainly stick them in your bag and you've got them, haven't you? So it's actually, since I've been having these problems with this adapter, I've been thinking I'm going to get a power conditioner just to improve things. I'm just going to unplug this. Just bear with me, guys. There we go. Yeah, so there. So no wireless, okay. You're talking IEMs. Are you running a wireless router? That isn't going out to anyone. So an enclosed wireless router for you guys to, are you running off like a Behringer desk or one of the other ones where you all have your own IEM mixes? I'm guessing you are. It could well be that is on the same power source. So when you're saying if you plug, but not through my amp, front of house no IEMs, but not through my amp. Well, you got to bear in mind your amplifier has various electronics inside it to cut down on interference. So that could well be why. I know we've had, because we've got our wireless stuff is all in a rack, and we have had occurrences where all sorts of funny things have gone on. And on a festival, you haven't got time to sort it. So we've just had to go with it, and everyone's been told, guys, there's going to be some problems on the IEMs. Just go with it, get to the end of the gig, and we'll get out of here. So look at that. Maybe put your wireless router and your mixer on a single feed out of the wall, and then put your pedal board on a separate one. It's hard. I know, setting up, you're usually in a rush. There isn't time to sort all these problems out, but you just got to go with the flow, really, and do the best you can in the time you've got. But this is equipment, it's constant problems and issues, and you always think, well, in an ideal world, we'd have people doing all this for us, but a lot of us bands don't have that luxury, so you just got to go with it. Right, I need to do a sort of a reset here. So this is Brooks's Bass Corner, live chat number 24. I'm Mike Brooks. This is our live chat that we do every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. If you've not attended one before, you're very welcome. I can see the numbers on there, so that's good. Lovely to see all you people out there in YouTube land. If you're listening to this after or watching it after the event, you can still contribute. You can post comments and I'll reply to them. But if you're watching now, we have a live chat window here. So if you've got any questions, any comments about anything you've seen here on the channel, if you've got any questions about basses, bass amps, bass speakers, bass effect pedals, bass accessories, you've seen something on the channel you want to ask a question about, stick it in that live chat window and I'll respond as quickly as I can see your question pop up. We've done 50 minutes already. Probably going to do about another 10-20 minutes unless we suddenly end up with a flurry of questions, which we did last week, and we went through for about an hour and 35 minutes. So if there's anything I can help you with, if you've got problems with your basses, problems with any of your equipment, or you want to know how to set up a pedal board, or you've got a bass and you're trying to restring it and it won't go into tune or won't intonate properly, or you're looking for some ideas on things for Christmas, or if you're buying for a bass player, I can give you some pointers, things you might want to consider to stick in your friend or your partner, or it might be a family member. You can stick it in their Christmas stocking. They might go, I really need that. Something like that. The guitar maintenance kit from Ernie Ball. Something like that. Or it might be, I can show you one of these. We've done this before, but I'll do it again. And there'll be a video for this very shortly as well. This is the Ernie Ball Musician's Toolkit. It's one of those. It's a godsend. Whenever I go abroad now, taking this with me, it's got all the bits and bobs I need. If my bass suddenly has a problem, or if we've got hired in equipment and the bass is provided, I can sort it out. So these are great. But anyway, so if you've got a family member or a partner or a friend, you think, God, what am I going to get them for Christmas? Ask me. I've probably got 100 ideas for you. If you've not done live chats before, the live chat window is there. You'll see it to the right of the video. If you're on the mobile app, it will be below. You stick your comments, questions in there. As soon as I see them pop up, I'll try and answer them. If you've not done this before, underneath the live chat, you'll see an emoji icon. So you can put emojis in. You'll see Mark Williams put a lovely big thumbs up there. I think someone else did some earlier. Just checking. Yeah, smileys from Stacey Ann. All of that caper. And next to it, you'll see a $sign. So that's called Super Chat. If you don't know what Super Chat is. So basically, if you're enjoying this video, live chat, it's happening as I'm doing this, unless you're watching it after the event. You can financially contribute to this channel. If you're watching someone else's channel, it's the same thing. You can contribute to the financial progression of the channel. So it gives us money to buy the things we review. It allows us to hire studios for filming, keeping the channels going, buying all these kinds of things, because we don't get them for free. So everything you've seen there has been paid for, but that's what then features in the videos. So if you're enjoying this video, hit the super chat button. You can contribute financially to the channel. It's all very much appreciated and most welcome. The alternative to super chat is a thing called super thanks. So that applies to every video on a monetized channel. This channel is monetized. Super thanks if you're enjoying the video, enjoying the content. If for example, there's a video and it solves a problem for you, you can show your appreciation to the creator. Click on the super thanks. You can make a financial contribution to that channel. You don't have to. Everything on here is free. But if you think, I really like those videos, or he's helped me out there with a problem. Last week, on this live chat, we had Texas Iguana. We had a fairly lengthy chat about pedal boards, pedals, how to get the best out of his signal chain, what were the next pedals I thought he should consider for his pedal board. And he donated $20. So it was very much appreciated here. That was the most we had. Stacey Ann, you've just given me $9.99. Thank you very much. That is wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you. I'll be doing the same with your channel shortly. So, you know, what goes around comes around. And I've just seen Papa G, Gary, appear. Good evening, sir. Hope you're well. Hope that lovely jazz bass that I did a Soundbite demo for back in January, I think that went up.
Hope that bass is serving you well. Gary, what's he saying here? Right, always test power sockets with a, I presume that's meant to be Martindale, socket tester. Checks live, neutral and earth conditions. My power breaker goes with me on every gig. I've used it since 2000. And the reason I got one, in fact, everyone in the band I was in went and bought one, because there was a venue we used to play, and there was a gig. We hadn't been there for a couple of weeks, and a band played there on a Sunday afternoon, and the singer was setting up all the mics, and he went and plugged the PA in and was holding the mic, and it was all live, and he died. And from that point on, we all bought power breakers. So yeah, Stacey Ann, $9.99 super chat. Thank you. It's noted. Thank you. So yeah, power breakers all the way round. So any musicians watching this, you're going out on gigs, whether you're amateur, semi-pro, professional, or anything in between, buy a power breaker and use it. Don't leave it in your gig bag, think, oh, I don't need it. Use it, because you aren't in control of that electrical source. And many a pub landlord don't check their power sockets, and even with pack testing and everything else, they just don't. So don't put your life in their hands. You know, kind of be proactive. That's what I'm trying to say. And for the sake of a power breaker that might cost you 10, 15, 20 quid, do it, because it could save your life. You know, don't be daft. There's plenty of other things you might die from, but don't let it be an electrical source at the venue. Patrick Sweeney, gotta go, Mike. Cool, no worries. Take it easy. Big love going out to you and your family. Very informative from you and the other contributors. Catch you next time. Thank you. We're here next Tuesday. If you want to be here, 7 o'clock, you know where we are. You're most welcome. Yeah, so Brooks's Bass Corner, live chat number 24. This channel's been going nearly 2.5 years, I think, and 24 live chats. It's a lot of chat, but hopefully you guys out there have picked up some nuggets of information. It's what I'm here for. If I can help, I've been playing for 35 years this month. It is 35 years this month. I first picked up a bass guitar at Rains Park High School. And here we are, 35 years later. Nothing has changed. I adore the instrument, and I knew from the moment I picked my very first bass up, that's it. That's what I'm going to do. And here we are. So 35 years playing, 27 years professionally, gigging, recording, writing. So it's been a long old road, but if I've got some experience or have encountered something that you've got a problem with, let me know. If I can offer you up the advice, I'm more than happy to do so. There was something I needed to mention. Yes, Jack Bruce. Today is 8 years since Jack Bruce passed away. For anyone who doesn't know who Jack Bruce is, Google is your friend. Jack Bruce is a legendary bass player. He played in the Graham Bond Orchestra, but most notably, where most people will know or recognise him from, is he was in Cream, probably the greatest power trio that ever existed. Didn't exist for very long, but they laid the groundwork literally for every trio that came after that. Their influence is huge, still to this day. In America, they're gods. Two of them obviously aren't with us, so Jack's gone, Ginger's gone, Eric Clapton's still in fine form. But yeah, so today is 8 years since Jack passed away. It's 9 years since I interviewed him. He wasn't well. He wasn't a well man. He was just finishing off. In fact, the day before I interviewed him, he put the finishing touches to his last album. And I was sent by Bass Guitar magazine to interview him for the 100th issue, front cover. And he was quite wonderful. We had limited time because he was filming video content for the accompanying DVD that went with the album. And he was great. I was expecting him to be hard work, but he was really nice and he was really accommodating. I've posted up a picture of him with me, or me with him rather, on the community page and on the social media platforms today. the guy is legendary, and at some point I might do it for next year, which will be the 10th anniversary of the interview. I have the audio from that interview. It's in my interview vault, and I'd like to get it up and out there for you guys to hear, so you can hear one of his certainly wasn't his last interview, but one of his last, because almost a year to the day he died a year later, and he was actually supposed to be one of the main headline performers at the 2014 London Bass Guitar Show, and I did his pre-show interview, which went in the magazine, and then he had to cancel literally a couple of days before the show, and I think we ended up with Lee Sklar filling that gap, which was last minute, but thankfully Lee was in town, so it all worked out really great. But Jack was supposed to be there, and actually some of the other performers were, I think Roger Glover said, I can't wait to see Jack, it's going to be great, but he fell ill and couldn't attend the show, and then a couple of months later wasn't with us anyway. So yeah, so if you're out there in bass world, raise a glass to Mr. Jack Bruce this evening. He was fabulous, quite fabulous. And if you're a young player, you don't know who the hell I'm talking about, go and check him out. Google is your friend, YouTube is your friend. There's plenty of footage of the man, quite phenomenal. And actually, I remember in the conversation we were talking, and he was telling me about how Marvin Gaye had wanted him to join his band, and he could then go in and work in Motown and what have you. And we were talking about bass players. I said, well, you know, who do you like? And he came out with some really lovely words about Mark King, and I fed them back to Mark a year or two later at an interview. And I think he got quite choked up because he really idolized Jack Bruce as well, and what he did with Cream kind of certainly caught Mark's ear, and he was a huge influence on him. And but I think Jack's really loved Mark's playing and what he could do. And again, singing bass players, you know, they're a breed apart, good ones. So yeah, so there's my Jack Bruce thing. Also, something I wanted to mention was, and I mentioned it last week, I've got a new series of shorts on YouTube Shorts called 3 Great Things. You may have seen some of the videos. I think there's 4 already. There's a whole load in the can ready to go. Basically, a bit, it's not a review and it's not a demo. It's basically as much information about 3 great facets of a bass or an amp or an effect pedal that I can cram into 60 seconds. So if you don't know what YouTube Shorts is, it's YouTube's version of TikTok videos. Same as, I guess, like Instagram Reels, but basically most of the content you see on YouTube is long form content. So anything over 60 seconds or a minute, same thing, clearly, is considered a YouTube short. So anything over 60 seconds or a minute is long form content. Anything less than 60 seconds is short form content. So that's where YouTube Shorts is. And this new series called 3 Great Things. If you haven't seen it, by all means check it out. You can do it, just go onto my channel here, click on videos. Sometimes it's a tab that shows the long form content, then you click on another tab that shows shorts. Sometimes it might just show all the content in a list. So if it's a shorts video, you'll see like a 9:16 ratio kind of portrait. I've done proper thumbnails for all of them, but sometimes you don't see that in what's displayed to you as the viewer. So at the moment there are videos there on the Kubicki X Factor, the Aria SB1000, the Dingwall NG2, and the Bass Center Betsy. But there's a whole load of other videos. They're all there ready, edited, waiting to go. So if you haven't checked them out, feel free to do so. There's going to be more over the next few weeks. So yeah, by all means check them out. So if you don't really have a lot of time to watch a video that's 3, 4, 5, 6 minutes, these are literally just 60-second videos. You might enjoy it. They're quite rapid fire, so there's a lot of information in there going past you very quick. But if you enjoy it, that's what they're there for. It's all about what you guys enjoy watching. I can see messages popping up in the chat window. Right, let's see who we've got here. Stacey, Yes, there you go. That's it. Use that emoji icon. To the great Jack Bruce. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, he was good fun. It was good fun. Serious, but good fun. Mark Williams, got a drop. Ironically, banned business calls. Wow, I've been there, mate. Try and catch you next week. Look forward to it, Mark. Take care. Hope you have a good evening. I think that was the end of the messages. Let's have a little look. It is. So we'll do another 5-10 minutes. So if you've not been here before, this is Brooks's Bass Corner, live chat number 24. Tuesday evening, 7 o'clock. Although it's not 7 o'clock now, it's 8:05. But every Tuesday up until I think December the 6th, I've booked in 10 of these live chats. So every Tuesday at 7 o'clock UK time, feel free if you want to join in. We're a friendly bunch. If you've got any questions about basses, amplifiers, speakers, bass effects, bass accessories, bass pedal boards, wireless units, IEMs, you got any questions about anything to do with bass, I might be able to help. I've got 35 years of playing experience, 27 as a pro. I've written for Bass Guitar Magazine and Bass Player for 18 years, reviewed hundreds of instruments, and if you follow the social media channels, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, you'll see I've been posting up various reviews that I've done over the years. There's some features I've posted up as well, sometimes some interviews. I'm trying to think what else there is. There's all sorts of stuff. So stuff that I've had published is going up on the social media channels. Sometimes you might see some on the community tab. Again, are people out there going, what the hell's he talking about, community tab? So on a YouTube channel, when you come onto a creator's page, you'll see about. These are tabs: about, videos, playlists, channels that they may follow, community. So community is like the social media aspect of YouTube. So it's no different than Facebook, Instagram. It allows me to post messages up. You guys can respond to them. I might put polls up there. Did a poll the other day where I was asking you guys, if you were called out on an 80s tribute gig and you had to have an era correct instrument, what would you choose? And I put 4 options up there. Would you choose a Kubicki X Factor? Would you choose a Series 2 Status? Would you choose a Steinberger? Would you choose a WAL? And loads of you responded. It was great. Thank you very much to everyone that cast their vote in that poll. And the Kubicki X Factor won. Doesn't surprise me. It looks the part, sounds the part, but any of those 4 basses would have cut the mustard pretty well. So yeah, thank you very much. But that's what the community tab is about. So I try to post on there daily. Sometimes I might miss a day here and there, but also then I'm posting on social media almost every day as well. So, you know, if you aren't already following me, you can find Brooks's Bass Corner on Facebook. It's on Instagram and it's on Twitter. It's there, like I say, posting content almost every day. So feel free to follow, subscribe, give the pages a like, whatever floats your boat. Okay, let's see where we are. Okay, we've done 1 hour and 10 minutes. I'm going to do a quick wrap up. So if any of you out there, I can still see people are watching. If you've got any questions or comments, stick them in that live chat window as quickly as you can. Otherwise, we'll be closing this down for this week. And if I see anything pop up in the live chat window, I will respond to it as soon as I see it come in. So what's coming up on the channel? So shorts every day, 1 a day at the moment. There'll be long form content going up this week. So there'll be a couple of episodes from the Bass String Experiment series. There will be hopefully a couple of long form reviews as well. We've got some vintage interviews still to go up, and there's some new interviews to be done. As I intimated last week, the names that I'm trying to interview have very fluid diaries. So trying to tie them down to days and times to do Zoom calls is proving a little tricky, but we'll get there. Hopefully they'll get done before Christmas. If not, it'll be just after. And hopefully some more workshop videos. Now that gigs are sort of fairly regular, my instruments need some TLC and a little fettling and some restringing and some cleaning up and some tweaking on the hardware. So there will be some workshop videos coming very shortly. So on that note, I can't see anything else in the live chat window, so I will bid you all good evening. Have a great day, what's left of Tuesday, and look forward hopefully to see you next Tuesday at 7 o'clock. If you enjoyed the video, hit the subscribe button. And anyone who has done that in the past week or past few weeks, thank you very much. Subscriber numbers are on the up. Yeah, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you get notifications when new videos and new content go up. And if you can give this video a thumbs up and a like, it would be very much appreciated. It keeps the whole algorithm clicking in the right way for this channel. Thank you very much. I won't go into the super chat and super thanks. I think we've done all that. So on that note, have a great day. Enjoy what's left of Tuesday. And I will see you back here next Tuesday at 7 o'clock. Be here. It's good fun. Have a great week. I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.